Welcome back to Dry Hollow Homestead. This is Danielle and this is my husband Zach, and we are going through the bees today. We are not the most educated beekeepers. This is a new thing for us. We've been doing it for 3 years, so we're not the ones to ask a bunch of questions of, but we have kept them alive. And this year we had the one large hive, and then it split 3 times in the beginning of our spring. So we have 4. Actually, it split even one more other time, and we just 4 is enough for us. So we did an exchange with a friend and got some boxes, and he took the bees for us. So we have 4 hives right now. So our oldest is that tallest, and on each box we have given them a brood box and also one medium box as their brood box. So we have a queen excluder on the bottom of the inner cover on these 3 that you can see here. That just keeps the queen from going up any higher, which right now we don't have any honey supers on top, so that's fine. We are letting them just build their numbers on these small frames, these small hives. And we're just going to check. I have a big hole in my bee suit, so that gives me a scare every now and then. These are my hive tools. Some people like one and some people like the other. I like the one with the red end. That's my favorite. We're smoking each other. That's what you do when you have bees. And my husband tucked in his shirt. He's all ready. We smoke a little bit. And like I said, we are not any kind of professionals, but we are hobbyists, I guess. So that was the top of our first beehive here, and then that comes off next is the inner cover. Now these aren't the nicest bees, this hive, so we're being extra careful with, or extra generous with the smoke, because yeah, they're not real happy about us getting into them. So what we do when we're going through the bees, we know we're not going to take any honey from these first 3 hives for sure, because they're younger. This is their first year. They've been a hive since the spring. We just want to make sure that there is a queen who is laying eggs, which is also called brood, and we want to make sure that they have not ran out of space, that they, have plenty of frames to continue to build on, and then that there are no predators or pests. We've had wax moth before. That was last year. It completely destroyed. We lost one whole hive because of wax moth. And the problem that we came into with that is we had an extra box on top. We just gave them too much room for the amount of bees, and they could not fend themselves off from that. So we've learned. And my husband there, he's holding one of the little patties of sugar, condensed sugar that you can do, that we did not buy, we actually bought online off Amazon. So we're actually going to feed our bees when we're finished looking at them. So I'm showing you some of the foundation, some of the frames. So we want to see that they're making honey, obviously, and that we can see where the queen has laid eggs, which is called brood. And as soon as I see it, I will show you. The white that you see, that is honey. And we also like to see the queen, but as long as we can see eggs, we know that she has been there within the last 3 days. She has been on that frame, and she's laid her eggs. You can see there's lots of different stages between the egg and, the larva becoming a baby. So that's brood. That is where the queen has laid eggs in those holes, and then the worker bees have fed the larva or the egg, and then they cover it and let it be safe inside that for a certain amount of days. I forget exactly what it is. And then when the eggs, the pupa or whatever, when they crawl out, they will chew through their way out, and then they will be full-grown worker bees that are born. That's how that works. So here you can see a beautiful array of brood. That's that darker right there. And there's some Yeah, there's little eggs you can see in there. So we did not see the queen, but we saw evidence of her. And there's some honey right there on the right-hand corner. That's beautiful honey. But like I said, we're not taking from her, from this hive at all. We won't be taking probably at all this year. So I'm going to go ahead and keep looking through the hives, pulling them out. My husband's going to smoke a little bit. A couple times I have sweat running down my leg, and it kind of scares me because I'm not sure if it's a bee or if it is actually a sweat bead, but it's definitely going from north to south, so I think we're okay. So yeah, I'm just continuing to look. That has tons of brood. Look at all that. That is covered brood. There's honey up in the corners, so I'm glad we are feeding. They are okay right now, but we definitely want to give them a boost. We've heard from other local beekeepers that we should probably be feeding right now, and it does seem that way. So I'm actually going to, so you take the first frame out whenever you're checking, and then you can slide one out at a time. Now the queen can be anywhere in here because we do have that excluder on top of this box, so she could be in any of these frames. So we have to be careful. We do not want to take the queen away from the frames or the box at all. So even while we're checking, the one that we set aside, we are looking at and making sure she's not there before we set it down. And then the others we keep pretty close over in case she would fall down. She will not fly because she is so heavy with eggs. So if you lose your queen, you could lose your whole hive. They will literally leave. So, or if this one, it has so much brood in it and eggs, the worker bees would actually make themselves a new queen, actually. They have plenty of eggs. They could do that. So there was that little block of feed. We actually really like doing that. That works really well. So we did not go through the bottom because we felt very confident in what she was doing. This is we off camera, we went through the second hive. This is our third hive we're going through. And this is not a very strong one. Lots of honey here. We did not see very much brood at all. It's heavy. He's telling me it's heavy with honey. Yeah, it is. When these boxes are full of honey, they are extremely heavy to pick up. And we have gone now to where we only put the medium supers on top of the large brood boxes because they're just so heavy to hold, to pick up. So nobody has gotten stung. So far, you have to wait to the end and see if we do get stung. I'm actually kind of semi-allergic. I'm not really sure exactly what's going on. When I used to get stung, no problem. I got stung on my hand. It swelled up real big by my honeybees. That's been since like last year. And then I've gotten stung on the face and I swelled up really bad. So I don't prefer to get stung. It's supposed to be good for you. The bee venom, it's good for your heart, all kinds of great natural things. I don't want to get stung anymore. So I actually got stung 5 times on my head when I was catching a swarm, which I did, but they got me. They got me good. And I didn't swell up because I took homeopathy, Apis, before I even went to try to catch the swarm. I was pretty sure I was going to get stung. So there was not a whole lot going on in this top box. We have not seen evidence of the queen being up on in this box at all. So my husband's actually, he trapped one of the bees. He's letting her out. He's saying, it's okay, I'm getting you. And there she goes. And so we're going to take the whole top box off. And we have to be careful. Yes. We're going to look and see if we see evidence of her in the lower box. So each hive will have a queen. Each hive is completely separate from the other hives. They know which one they come out of, and they're loyal to theirs. All the worker bees are female. The only males are the drones, and they're pretty pointless except for if there is a virgin queen, she will mate. She'll take a virgin flight, go out while she's, before she's had any eggs in her because she's a virgin, and she will mate with the drones. And then she will come back in and she'll start laying eggs, and she will never be able to fly after that. She'll be too heavy. So that's the only purpose of drones. They don't protect the hive at all. I'm looking all over here, by the way, for some evidence of the queen. I'm not seeing it. This is not a very strong one. We're not really sure what's going on at this point. So those drones, they're useless. They're typical of men. And the worker bees, all the females, they actually kill them and take them out of their hive before winter so that they are not feeding the drones, because they don't collect honey, they don't collect pollen, they don't make honey, collect pollen, and they don't protect the hive. So they get rid of them. They're pretty smart. So there at the bottom is a queen cell. So they are making themselves a new queen. Those worker bees are making themselves a new queen. That's a good thing. I'm not going to mess with them. We're going to go ahead and put it back together. They have not absconded. They have not left. So they are pretty sure that they can make themselves a new queen. So we're going to leave them be. Now, we're not experts. There might be people here that would know more than us, but this is what we're doing now. So my husband's putting it back together because we do not want to mess too much with this hive, with it being, every time you check your bees like this, you're setting them back at least 3 days worth of progress. It takes them 3 days to mend everything that you accidentally messed up or whatever. It takes 3 days, so you set them back that much. So we do not want to set this hive back. This is definitely our weakest hive. There's the queen excluder. Her body is bigger than the others. I wish we would have been able to find one of the queens so we could show you, but we didn't. So she cannot go up through there. So we do that so she doesn't leave, which she doesn't really anyway. I put another little patty of food on top of that. So this is our big girl, our biggest hive there. It has the same setup. It has a large box at the bottom and a medium box. And then it has the queen excluder. And then those 2 boxes on top, those 2 medium boxes, that is all our honey supers. Those are just honey for us. So we're excited. And they are probably about halfway filled with honey that is capped. So once they put honey in the comb, or in the foundation, they will actually cover it, and then you can take it after that's finished. You'll see like a light covering. It's not quite ready yet. There's a word for it. It might come to me, but there's no guarantee it'll come. So we're just checking, making sure. We're actually really curious to see if we're going to be able to pull some honey. So we know that the queen is not in these 2 upper boxes because we have that excluder. So we're not really too worried about making sure we keep it really close to the hive at all. There is one bee that keeps like going straight at us and buzzing us. She's a very good protective bee. So I am smoking my husband all kinds of ways, trying to get this bee to leave him alone. And it never works. She stays right with him. So we're looking to see. We also have some plastic frames that they do not care for. And we have some empty wooden ones that we are kind of taking some of the empty plastic ones that they've really not messed with out of there. Hopefully we'll be able to harvest both of these medium honey supers before winter, because they also have all that space down below that they will have. But we'll see. And we might just, ooh, see all that? That's all honey. That's all honey. It's beautiful. But we're not taking it yet. You saw how light covered it was. We're taking those out. They don't care for them at all, that plastic. We should have melted some of the beeswax and brushed onto the plastic so that they would take to it a little bit better. Now we know. So we're going to definitely do that. Like I said, we fed all 4 of these hives today. And we are sweating awful right now. You don't want to expose a lot of skin when you're doing this, so we're covered from head to toe. I used to do this without gloves until I did get stung on the hand, and it swelled up so bad. It doesn't hurt that terribly awful, but I don't want to have any kind of allergy start to bee stings. So we're talking about how we should line it up so that it's best for us when we are taking, because bees work from the inside up. So if they have empty things on the side, sometimes they will leave them empty and work just in the middle and go up to the next middle of the next frame. So we're kind of wondering if we need to stagger them, but I don't even remember what we decided. We're both pretty new at it, and it's worked really well. We've learned all kinds of things. We have so much more to learn, but we are amazed by these creatures. And we are thankful for what they give us, but even more so, even if we didn't get any honey, and we don't very often, we're just thankful that we can help these creatures pollinate and give them a place in our garden. And this is our orchard right next to our garden, so they pollinate all those trees. Thanks for stopping by our homestead. We will see you again, and God bless, and be happy.